Hi, my name is Margaret Mordahl. Welcome to my channel, Virtue Lies in the Middle, where we discuss current topics and try to remain as balanced as possible. So this all started a couple days ago when Candace did a half-hour segment on her show about Jordan Peterson and whether he was doing okay. In this show, she referenced a now-deleted tweet written by Mikhaila Peterson, who is Jordan Peterson's daughter and has been his manager / spokesperson in the past. This tweet read, "Yes, I think the Nazis on X equating Jews with rats and using hashtags like filth should have more content moderation / censorship. No, I'm not retracting that statement." Nick Fuentes, a well-known anti-Zionist, responded to this tweet saying, "Your dad literally called me a rat last week. Thank you for exposing yourself and revealing who you really work for. Both of you freaks should be deported to Israel since you love it so much. They can have you." And he linked the tweet of Jordan saying, "You, Nick Fuentes, really are a psychopathic rat." And Mikhaila responded to Nick Fuentes with this tweet. "OMG, were you called a rat? Did that hurt? I work for myself, you loser, and I know the Jews' success is due to their above-average IQ, but I'm sure blaming a nation of people for your failings is easier for you." So Candace definitely took exception to Mikhaila's tweets, especially because of the fact that she was calling for censorship of free speech and because of the fact that she was doubling down on her father calling Nick Fuentes a rat when it seemed like she had just called for the word rat to be banned. Mikhaila got a lot of backlash on Twitter for this tweet, and she deleted it and posted another one to explain her first tweet. That didn't help much, so finally she posted a video further explaining what she meant by that first tweet calling for censorship. Candace played it on her show, and she reacted to it in 3 different segments, which is what we will do right now.
Hey guys, over the weekend I was scrolling around X and I was being spammed with Nazi content to an unnerving degree. Not that one post isn't bad enough, but I've pressed not interested on so many anti-Semitic posts, it's ridiculous. And I'm not defining Nazi content by the liberal definition of Nazi, but real Jew-hating spam on X. So it's been all over my feed. Not from people I follow, by the way, just random posts. It makes me think these accounts are being funded by Iran, honestly, but that's a topic for another time and I have no evidence of that.
So what Candace doesn't like in this first clip of Mikhaila's explanation is her continued use of the word Nazi. She thinks that it comes off as very strong, and she sees it as Mikhaila simply calling anyone who disagrees with her a Nazi. Also, Candace doesn't like that Mikhaila seems to blame Iran for pushing anti-Jewish content, and she gives no evidence for this.
So I tweeted out one of these posts and said a few things. So first there was this one. And then when I started getting attacked online for the first post, which I thought was obviously anti-Semitic and anybody would think so, but like wham, thousands of negative comments, I tweeted out this, which I ended up deleting because it wasn't worded properly, honestly. So let me clarify. I shouldn't have used the word censor. I should have been more careful with that word because it's not exactly what I meant. It's hard to believe that if I'm not over the top clear in my communication randomly on X, it matters enough that it can go viral. That's still weird for me. Dad obviously has the same problem. Most of my tweets don't go viral. What I meant was if I don't follow Nazis on X, I don't want their posts all over my feed, and the algorithm shouldn't be pushing these posts. Not that they shouldn't have the freedom to post it. I meant censor as in don't artificially push their posts, not disallow users from posting whatever they want. So I should have said, I don't want Nazi posts pushed by the algorithm, not censor Nazis. There's a difference between freedom of speech and freedom of reach.
What Candace didn't like about this part of Mikhaila's explanation was Candace thinks that if you don't like what someone is saying, rather than calling for censorship of that thing, you should just debunk it. Also, she thinks that Mikhaila is pretending that the backlash she got from people is because they're Nazis, not because we are just Americans who love free speech. She thinks that perhaps Mikhaila, as a Canadian, does not understand the value that Americans give to free speech, as it is the key to our other freedoms.
Anyway, Nick Fuentes, I don't know because I don't care, a well-known anti-Semitic boy, went after me along with his thousands of anti-Semitic followers because I said that people who use the hashtag filth or rats when referring to an entire nation of people should be censored. Like I said, this was after I got attacked for retweeting a medical doctor who had the original anti-Semitic post, retweeting it in a negative way. Again, I meant these people's content shouldn't be pushed by the algorithm. I shouldn't have said censored. And Nick Fuentes responds with, your dad called me a rat. And I would like to clarify, I think calling individuals rats or whatever is fine, particularly if they are rat-like. I think it's different when you're referring to an entire nation of people as rats that have been subject to, say, Hitler less than 100 years ago, when the Nazis of the 1930s also referred to those people as rats as a tactic to breed disgust. So yeah, I think referring to Jews as rats is completely different than referring to Nick Fuentes as a rat. And if you can't understand the differentiation, I can't help.
So after this clip, Candace calls Mikhaila a leftist because she says that she resorts to calling people names rather than debunking their arguments. She suggests that Mikhaila takes a break from free speech. She says that Mikhaila is lying and gaslighting her audience into thinking that her first tweet was saying something that it wasn't. And she invites Mikhaila to come on her show and debate this subject with her. Now, what do I think of all this? I have a couple of opinions here. Firstly, I'm just wondering, why are we calling anyone Nazis nowadays? To me, Nazis was a very specific group of people in a very specific time period. It was specifically German nationalists in World War II. And yes, they hated Jews, but they also had a whole set of other beliefs. And so I think to call people who seem to hate Jews Nazis is not very precise, and I think we should just stop using that term altogether and come up with a new one. Secondly, I love that Candace calls out Mikhaila for just saying that Iran is pushing these anti-Jewish videos, because Candace herself will come out with statements that sound absolutely outrageous and we call conspiracy theories. However, Candace always has the receipts. She always has evidence to back up everything that she says, and that is something that I really appreciate about Candace. I would like to push back a little bit on Candace. Candace seems to be very free with calling people liars. She called Mikhaila a liar, she calls Jordan Peterson a liar, and she's called other people on her show liars before as well. To me, a lie is a very malicious thing. It's when someone knows the truth and they are knowingly holding that back or saying something that is false. I think in these cases, people can just simply be mistaken. They might not understand the criticisms that are being directed at them, and they might rather just be mistaken rather than maliciously lying. Finally, I would like to say that I do like Mikhaila's distinction between calling one person a rat and calling a whole group of people a rat. If you are calling one person a name, that's simply name calling. You're doing that for a reason. That person has done something which you do not like and you're responding to it. To call a whole group of people a name is unfair because the thoughts and actions and hearts of those people, all of those individuals, you do not know, and to label a whole group of people as something is simply unfair, wrong, and racist. So there you have it, folks. Those are my opinions. I hope you enjoyed this segment and maybe learned a little bit. I'll see you in the next one.